Hi, and welcome to Terri's Talks. I'm here with Mathias, POS1. So I'd like to introduce you, Mathias, to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Great. I have some really interesting questions because I've been seeing that POS1 is really gaining some ground. So can you take us through the journey and what was the original spark behind POS1?
First of all, I joined the company 1 year ago, and back then we had a more diversified strategy, which has now changed to being a sole focus on Business Central. Because what we saw was that there's really no product catering for the SME part of the market. And what we heard was that a lot of the end customers and partners were not satisfied with some of the big players in the market because it wasn't a good fit for a lot of the businesses because the projects are very expensive and they take a long time. So our approach is a simple, seamless, and scalable solution for this market in particular. And since we have made that shift in strategic direction, we've really started to seeing things picking up in terms of interest and clarity of message.
So what I see a lot of big players lead the feature depth. You seem to lead with partner readiness. What does that look like in practice? Can you explain that a little bit for me?
Yeah, we have been discussing with partners what their pains are in terms of these projects and really tried to listen in on why it is that frustrates them with retail projects and some of the solutions in the market, because there are some of the solutions, they have a very big and broad feature set, but it also requires a lot of configuration. And again, that might work well for some of the big projects, but for the smaller project where you need the rapid deployment and you cannot go out with a very high price tag for this, because in retail, let's face it, they're very price oriented. So you need to have something on the shelves that can really cater to this. What we have done is create a very simple onboarding, both for the end customer, but also for the partners. So we can actually deploy a system for a new customer within a couple of hours, which makes us completely unique in compared to the competition.
That's awesome. And talk to me a little bit about the real benefit of being integrated to BC rather than build in BC. I know you're very integrated, embedded. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's very deeply integrated to some of the more heavy lifting features that are in Business Central. So you can create customers, you can create sales orders, you can look up sales orders, you can do click and collect because it runs together with Business Central. And that really sets us apart, because you can say there are some of the very lightweight products where you can only send over the transactional data from the POS into Business Central. And then you have those that are built in very heavy feature set. So one of the big benefits is, of course, that our system can run offline. And as the world looks today, it is actually becoming increasingly important, where a couple of years back, you'd say offline doesn't really matter anymore. But what we see is that now it's actually it's licensed to operate, that your cash register is not down. And when you have a cloud product like Business Central, then it's great that the POS can actually run offline and then just integrate the data or sync the data to Business Central once the connection is reestablished.
It's so awesome.
This
I mean, also really economical, correct? This is giving everybody an opportunity, and yeah.
Exactly. It's a lot cheaper because you need the device license, but you do not need user license for all the users using the product. So again, that really sets us aside from the built-in solution. And it also gives a solution space in terms of our design of the solution. So the user experience, we can make it a lot better than what you can do, because inside of Business Central, you're of course defined by the solution space inside of that piece of software, whereas we can take some of the other building blocks to build a very seamless and great user experience. And that's what we hear, is that basically the clerks don't really need any onboarding in the system. They can, it's so intuitive, they can just sit down and start using it. So yeah, that's really great. And in retail, that matters. Because employee turnover is usually, I have worked many years in retail, and our employee turnover 35% a year. So every 3 years, the entire staff would have been changed. So having a system that's easy to operate will also save you a lot of money.
Absolutely. And what you say to the partners who thinks that, and all respect, but LS retail is the only path. I'm not seeing that anymore. I think that there's things that are when I'm looking at POS one,
POS one is ideal for the SME market, especially. It's a lot faster to deploy. The UX is a lot better and it works offline. And it does that by design. So you don't need servers in the back office and all that costly infrastructure. There's a local database sitting on the machine.
and to tell me something, this offline mode in the real world retail, how does POS manage it without compromising the BC connection? Or help me understand that a little bit better.
I'll try. When you deploy the system on the machine, what happens is that it establishes a small database sitting locally on the machine. And it's a light database. So some of the features that will not be available, again, for instance, if you're looking up customers, if you want to create sales orders and stuff like that, because that's so deeply integrated. But you can do regular operations in the POS. And there's just a red dot that turns on when connectivity is lost. And once it turns green, it will then sync the data and all the transactions and everything that has happened in the meantime. So you don't really feel it. And again, there's no infrastructure needed.
Okay. And that does ensure that there are data accuracies and everything once that resyncs and it's all 100% back up and reconnected, correct?
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell me, what's the partner experience like? How quickly can someone go from a decision to deployment? Let's say I've got an opportunity, the opportunity comes in and I'm like, okay, you're only talking about a POS and not all these users. So can you talk me through that a little?
Yeah, we had a live example from a couple of weeks ago where we had a meeting with a partner and we did the partner onboarding as part of getting this customer online. So both explaining what we did and doing it together with the partner, it took a little less than 2 hours to deploy this system within Business Central. So as soon as Business Central is up and running, what you need to do is you need to, of course, deploy it locally on the machine. That takes a couple of minutes. It's from the Microsoft Store.
Yeah.
And then you need to turn on the integration. And then you need to do a little setup in Business Central and a little bit in our admin center, creating locations, and the user data will be, of course, transferred from Business Central. And then you're basically up and running. So what we hear from the partners and from the end customer is, wow, this is really easy to work with. And once you just get a hang of it, you can see how easy it is to deploy a lot of solutions very quickly.
That is so awesome. Now, I know some partners are still trying to build their own POS with MBC. Tell me, what do you say to them or what advice can you give to them?
We have some partners who have signed up who used to have their own POS, who have now deprecated it. And what they're saying is that it may seem like a good idea, but the issue is that one customer have one set of requirements and then you move over to the next one and then that set of requirement is different from, and then you have all the integrations to payment terminals. And yeah, there is a lot of complexity in this area. And before you know it, you need to spend or really invest in creating a product that is usable for multiple customers. And if you don't have that volume of customers, it will end up costing you a lot of money.
Wow. So let me ask you something. Where do you see POS One's strategic role as more ISV shift to real business enablement?
Yeah. What we try to do is not just being a POS, but actually being a retail enabler, allowing them to do a lot and more maybe than they do right now with this very close integration to Business Central and the work that we do with the partners. Because with our solution, again, it enables omni-channel and so forth. So very quickly you can get a lot of feature depth or that heavy lifting from Business Central. You can get that into the POS. You can get that into the hand of the one managing the shop floor. So if you have a repair order, for instance, if you're working a bicycle shop, for instance, then the store clerk can do it directly in the POS without having to go into your ERP system. And that just makes a lot of sense for them because, again, from a usability perspective, it's just one system. You only need to operate your POS solution, and then you can actually have that operation up and running, your entire retail operation supported by the POS.
That's so awesome. You know what? I'm really curious. Where is POS heading in the next 12 to 24 months? I know we have a list on our charts, but where are we going?
You can say that what we're doing now, and again, after we made the strategic shift to only focus on Business Central, it's really a matter of land and expand. Now we have expanded into new markets, the UK and the US, and we are onboarding a significant number of partners, and we're seeing the deals are coming in. So it's really a matter of expanding those markets. And then, of course, down the road, we'll continue expanding into new markets and also into these new vertical solutions, because we see solutions, now verticals that require a specific set of features. For instance, if we look at fashion, then a variant solution is just a must have. And we're building that right now. And we hope to have that with the release that we have in the fall this year.
And I remember us having this discussion about micro verticals. And so if partners have micro verticals, I think that's something that would be uplifting to have discussions about. I know there's a lot of Microsoft ecosystem integrations that are there, and we want to build that stronger. But from your perspective, those micro verticals, I think, are areas where we can expand and help partners to grow their micro verticals. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And again, we have built a solution that's actually quite flexible, because if you have, for instance, as a partner, you've created your own micro vertical ISV solution within Business Central, then we can quickly integrate to that and have those fields being part of what you can work with in the POS, and being able to rapidly develop that for a partner will help them sell their own ISV solution and help them grow that market even further.
That is so awesome. Mathias, I just appreciate taking time with you. You're just such a wonderful group to work with. And so tell me something, one thing a partner on the fence should know about working with you. I mean, we're engaging with partner relationships. We're out there really trying to build some really strong relationships. Why would it be so great to work with POS One?
Because it's simple, seamless, and scalable, and it's built for BC and BC only.
I love it. Love it. So let's talk about just the upcoming event that we're going to be at in the near future. Let's talk about what the rest of the year is going to look like and possibly where we're going to be at.
In terms of Microsoft events, we'll of course participate in Directions, EMEA, and we have also signed up with SIA 365, and we're now part of the Guide 365 platform. So partners who are using that tool will be able to leverage that and quickly determine if a solution retail or if a project has a retail component. Then it's easy for us to part of the project. It's easy for us to deploy it, and it should be fairly simple to win it. And one thing, I think a closing remark on my side is that we have discussions. We had a discussion last week with an end customer who said that they were only going to look at a BC implementation because their partner was pushing it once they saw a POS solution that actually worked with Business Central. Because for retail business, and I think that's really important to understand, is that the POS solution is the license to operate, and the ERP system to a lesser extent. So what they really need and what they really work with is the POS solution on every day, and that needs to be great. And then they can look at Business Central, and now we have that product, and we can cater to the SME market and really start to, I think, conquer a lot of ground together with Business Central and partners.
That's awesome. I so look forward to working with you this year. We are going to be attending, I will be attending on behalf of POS One at Summit North America. So I'm looking forward to anybody ask me anything about POS One. Mathias, it's always a great pleasure. I thank you. And I look forward to those great relationships we're about to build.
Me too. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.